Take a moment and listen to the sound of your cat. Maybe it's a soft meow at the door, or that deep, rhythmic purr while they sit on your lap. You probably feel a sense of peace, a surge of what you think is parental love. You might even call yourself a cat parent. But as we stand here in 2026, the latest neuroacoustic data is revealing a much darker, much more calculated truth. You aren't a parent. You are a target of one of the most successful evolutionary biohacks in the history of the planet. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are stepping out of the world of elderly health and into the fascinating, sometimes unsettling world of feline psychology. We've all seen the videos claiming cats see us as big, clumsy cats, but that theory is old news. The real gist gap we are filling today is how your cat is using sound to manually override your nervous system. In 2026, researchers at the Institute of Interspecies Communication have identified a specific acoustic signature known as the Solicitation Purr. This isn't the happy purr of a sleeping kitten. This is a complex, dual-layered sound designed for one thing: total human compliance. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how your cat has hijacked your brain's most ancient survival circuits and why you find it physically impossible to ignore their demands. To understand the hijack, we have to look at the physics of sound. A normal cat purr is a low-frequency vibration, usually sitting around 25 to 50 hertz. It's a healing frequency, one that we find naturally soothing. But when a cat wants something, usually food or attention, they activate a hidden layer within that purr. According to a landmark study originally pioneered by Dr. Karen McComb at the University of Sussex and recently updated with 2025 acoustic mapping, this solicitation sound contains a high-frequency peak. This peak sits between 300 and 600 hertz. Why is that number significant? Because 300 to 600 hertz is the exact frequency range of a human infant's distress cry. Evolution has hardwired the human brain to be hypersensitive to this specific sound. When a baby cries, our amygdala, the brain's emotional smoke detector, sounds an alarm. Our cortisol levels spike, our heart rate increases, and we feel an overwhelming, urgent need to stop the sound by providing care. Cats, through thousands of years of living alongside us, have learned to mimic this exact frequency. They have embedded a hidden cry inside their purr. When your cat purrs for breakfast, your conscious mind thinks, "Oh, how cute, they love me." But your subconscious mind is screaming, "There is a baby in distress, do something now." You don't get up to feed your cat because you are a kind soul. You get up because your brain is being subjected to a psychological denial-of-service attack. You are feeding them so your brain will stop triggering a stress response. This is the definition of biohacking, using a biological signal to force a behavior in another species that benefits the hacker. Let's look at the brain chemistry involved. In 2026, we have the benefit of real-time fMRI scans of cat owners. When these owners hear a recording of a standard purr, their brain's reward centers, the ventral striatum, light up with dopamine. It's a pleasant, bonding experience. However, when the same owners hear the solicitation purr containing that 380 Hz infant mimicry peak, the activation shifts. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic and decision-making, actually slows down. Meanwhile, the amygdala and the hypothalamus go into overdrive. This is what scientists call an amygdala hijack. Your logic tells you the cat just ate 2 hours ago. Your logic tells you the cat is perfectly safe. But your ancient mammalian brain cannot distinguish between the cat and a human child in danger. The cat has successfully bypassed your logic gate and accessed your action gate. This is why cat owners often describe the sound as impossible to ignore or unpleasant but compelling. It's a genius move by a predator that in the wild is actually quite small. By sounding like our offspring, they have secured a position in our homes that no other animal occupies. Dogs, for comparison, took a different evolutionary route. They developed the levator anguli oculi medialis, the one that gives them puppy dog eyes. Dogs went for a visual hack, but cats? Cats went for the audio hack. And in the world of biology, audio hacks are far more powerful because you don't have to be looking at the cat for the hack to work. They can trigger your brain from another room, through a closed door, or while you are fast asleep. They have essentially installed a remote control software into your central nervous system. This leads to a revelation that many cat owners find difficult to accept: the concept of property marking. If you've ever had your cat rub their face against your legs, you likely interpreted it as a hug. You felt chosen. But the gist of the matter is that cats are solitary predators with a very different view of love. When a cat rubs their cheeks against you, a behavior known as allo-rubbing, they are using scent glands to deposit a complex cocktail of lipids and pheromones. In the feline world, this isn't a hug, it is a property claim. They are claiming you as safe territory. To a cat, the world is divided into two categories: things that are them and things that are other. By marking you, they are essentially claiming you as part of their environment. They're not saying, "I love you" in the human sense. They are saying, "You are a high-value resource that belongs to me." This is why cats get so stressed when you come home smelling of another cat or a dog. You have effectively vandalized their property. Combine this scent marking with the infant frequency audio hack, and you see the full picture of the 2026 Feline Intelligence model. The cat has marked the territory, you, and has the remote control to trigger that territory's caregiving instincts, the purr. They have successfully domesticated us. We provide the shelter, the high-quality protein, and the safety, all in exchange for being allowed to live in the territory they have claimed. It is a brilliant interspecies symbiotic relationship where the cat holds almost all the psychological leverage. We cannot talk about feline manipulation without touching on the most controversial discovery in modern neuroparasitology, Toxoplasma gondii. While this was once seen as a simple parasite found in litter boxes, 2025 meta-analyses have revealed a much direct link to human behavior. Toxo is a parasite that can only sexually reproduce in the gut of a cat. To get back to a cat, it infects rodents and literally rewires their brains. It makes rats lose their fear of cats and actually become attracted to the smell of cat urine. But what does this do to humans? Recent studies published in Nature Communication suggest that humans infected with Toxo, which is a huge percentage of cat owners, show similar behavior shifts. It doesn't make us zombies, but it does alter our dopamine levels. It makes us more prone to risk-taking and, crucially, more tolerant of cat odors and behaviors. It's a secondary layer of the hijack. The cat uses sound to control your now, and the parasite potentially uses chemistry to ensure your long-term loyalty. When you look at the infant frequency, the lipid marking, and the toxochemistry together, you see a triple threat of biological engineering. The cat is not a pet in the way a goldfish is. They are an active participant in your psychological ecosystem. They have evolved to fit into the nurture gap of the human psyche so perfectly that we have brought them into our most private spaces, shared our beds with them, and spent billions of dollars on their comfort, all because our brains are physically unable to tell them no. Now, I want you to prove this to yourself. You don't need a multi-million-dollar lab to see the gist of this hijack. Most of you have a powerful acoustic analyzer right in your pocket, your smartphone. I want you to download a simple, free spectrogram or frequency analyzer app. These apps show you a visual map of sound. The next time your cat is hungry, maybe tomorrow morning, wait for them to start that insistent purr. Record just 10 seconds of it. When you look at the graph, you'll see a solid bar of color at the bottom. That's the standard 25 Hz purr. But look higher. Look for a thin, sharp spike between 300 and 600 Hz. That is the hidden cry. That is the sound of your cat's evolutionary software running on your hardware. Compare that to a recording of your cat purring while they're half asleep or after they've just eaten. You'll notice the 380 Hz spike is gone or significantly lower. They only turn on the infant frequency when they need a specific response from you. They are modulating their output based on the desired response. Once you see that spike on your screen, you can never unhear it. You will realize that every time you thought you were choosing to be a nice person and feed the cat, you were actually just responding to a sound command. So, where does this leave us? Does it mean our cats don't love us? Not necessarily. In the 2026 view of interspecies biology, love is simply a high-value survival strategy. By hijacking our caregiving instincts, cats have ensured their species' survival in a world that is increasingly hostile to wild predators. They have traded their independence for a life of luxury, and all they had to do was learn.
They have traded their independence for a life of luxury, and all they had to do was learn how to sound like our babies. It's a beautiful, if slightly manipulative dance. We get the companionship, the lowered heart rate from the 25 Hz healing frequency, and the presence of a miniature lion in our living rooms. They get a giant, warm, food-providing roommate who is biologically incapable of ignoring them. It is perhaps the most successful contract ever signed in the animal kingdom. I want to hear from you. Go download that frequency app. Test your cat. Tell me in the comments below, what frequency did your cat hit? Was it 350, 420, 500? Drop your results in your cat's name. I'm personally curious to see which models of cats are the most effective hackers. When you share these results, you help the other cat owners to identify this video as a citizen science hub, which pushes our reach even further to other cat owners who are currently being hacked without knowing it. If this deep dive into the acoustic hijack changed the way you look at your cat, hit that like button. Subscribe for our next video, where we'll be looking at paw dominance and why a left-pawed cat might be the smartest and most dangerous animal in your house.